So in Italy, every village or, area has what they're known for food-wise. So, if it's wild boar, or my husband's from the Bay of Naples, he's from a seaside town. They all came from this island, Procida, so it's seafood for them. And they have what's called a sagra, which is, it's their kind of celebration of the food that they grow, that they're known for. So when we came to visit Sherwood, because we were looking to buy this restaurant, I saw that they were having this onion festival. And I thought, oh, it's like a sagra, the sagra della cipolle. That they would, that they must be known.
Did you say that slow?
Sagra della cipolle. Cipolle is onion in Italian.
Of course.
And so we went back to California. We knew we were going to buy this place, and we were coming to visit, to look for housing and schools, and it was going to be when the Onion Festival was happening. So I contacted the people in charge of it that I had seen online to say, oh, it'd be really cool if Mimo could do, because what they do when they have sagras is they have all this food, all different kinds of food around that particular thing. So, he's got the Sagra del Mare in his hometown. So it's for everybody. So it's not expensive. It's like you pay, I don't know, just like a ticket price. And then there's all these booths, and you go and you get to sample the food from, all the different seafood that they've got. And so I thought, oh, Mimo could get a booth and he could do pizza rustica con cipolle, because they make in Italy this rustic pizza with onions.
I'd love a piece of that.
Yeah. And like right now he does rabbit, and he does it with sweet onions. So I get a lot of onions for him for that too. But there's so many things, that you could do. And so they said, oh no, we have our food. It's the fireman's barbecue or whatever.
Yes, that's, I'm involved with the group that puts that on.
Yeah. So but he could enter for the recipe contest, I guess, or something. That's what they had told me.
I don't know.
So they have a recipe contest, I guess, for best recipe with onions.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, or something.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. But so anyway, that came up, and then when we moved here and I'm going down 99, I saw the road that said Cipolle. So I thought, that's interesting. I wonder, there must be Italians like here or something. And I didn't know that everyone called it Saipol. So then I thought, well, there's got to be something, because it's called Cipolle.
Yeah.
And then the Onion Festival. So I have no idea, but I'm wondering if the Italians started having these sagras for the cipolle.
No.
No, they didn't. Okay.
No. It's not an old festival.
Okay.
It started in Odge, actually, that you talked to is when it started it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I guess the 1980s would have been when it started.
Oh, so it's relatively young.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
But one Parliament has is that it's having trouble finding roots in Sherwood. The people you meet there, the vendors and their customers, they're sort of a club unto themselves, and they don't care where they're at.
I kind of got that feeling.
We'd like to get some more authenticity to it.
Well, that's what I think would be neat, if there was a way to sort of infuse the idea of what a sagra is. Because I don't know, are there people that are still growing onions in this area?
I guess so. They're next to, the last time I talked to the onion farmers, they weren't happy with the wildlife refuge because the ground has to be pristine, and what they call weeds, the wildlife refuge calls wildflowers. So they weren't controlling
Right, because so the wildlife refuge, that was where they had the onion flats,
yes,
right?
that's beaver dam soil, which is extremely rich. It's the reason people came out here in the covered wagon days was that soil. But onions are also very intensive to harvest.
Right. And so the Italians that came, they were coming from the East Coast, is that right? Or
Yes, I think we've got it down that the first family that came here was from New York, and they had raised onions in the state of New York.
Mm-hmm. That's where Mima's uncles immigrated to.
But I'm not sure that their name doesn't sound Italian to me.
Well, so what we're trying to do, and that's what we just talked to Aj about, and we're going to rent it, is we want to do an Italian carnival celebration with the kids. So,
wonderful.
Yeah. So in Italy, right before Lent begins, they have this big carnivale, which the kids get all dressed up. And they have, processions, but it's also like for the food wise, because for them wintertime is when they slaughter the pigs. So it's like a lot of stuff with pigs. So Mima would probably do lasagna with pork and, you know, maybe the sausage and friarielli and yeah. So, I mean, we're really interested in just, yeah, kind of like bringing the Italian culture, but then finding out the history of the Italians here. And then, you know, we work with the local farmers in the area with the food that we do.
I always think food. I'm waiting for a good dish of food from these guys. They're never quite as Italian as they say they are. You know, they don't even remember any words or anything.
Oh yeah.
So
no, Mima speaks very little English, so.
Yeah, they're you know it happens to everybody in this country. You think you're still from the old country, but then you meet somebody from the old country and you're not. You know, you realize. You know, it's just it's two or three generations go by. You know, and you're trying to hang on, but you can't. Nobody's speaking the language.
Yeah, so Tanya and I, you know, we're looking to find out more information. Tanya's a writer, so yeah. Also,
I'm going to be posting this on our Sherwood Historical Society blog.
Okay.
This conversation.
Okay.
And a lot of people look at that, and I'll put it on my Facebook too.
Okay. Well, so you guys have a Facebook page. I'll go on.
Well, we don't have one for the Historical Society.
Oh, I'll bet you have one.
Basically, June Reynolds, the author, has one, and people go to her.
Okay. So, so you were saying, do you know the, because I had seen the Sherwood Gazette had written an article about a guy an old man in Sherwood who is a wood maker. He makes wooden toys for kids, and he had an Italian last name. And
I don't know him. I've heard of him, but I've never met him.
I was just curious, because he's someone I want to...
That would certainly fit the theme.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, well, so... No,
I've actually gotten interested in Italian opera because of
Anton.
Like, what's this about? You know, and hey, this is interesting stuff. You know, it'd be fun to have to just teach opera and good food. And there's a lot of stuff.
Well, I need to talk to him because one of the things we've wanted to do, we've done it as charity, like for auctions when they come, is Mima's done pasta making classes.
Oh.
Because he makes, you know, he hand makes all the pasta in the restaurant. So when I just saw that space at the Rebecca Lodge, I'm like, wow, that kitchen is great size.
Yeah, it's been just fixed up really nice.
To do pasta making classes.
Oh. Well, that's Audrey's responsibility. She's the one that got that done.
Yeah.
She really fixed it. Yeah, it used to be a silent film theater.
Oh, really?
And
is that where the piano is? That piano or?
Yeah, the piano's not a thing, but the seats are still there.
Yeah.
The theater seats. Mm-hmm. You've been in there. Well, you just said you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great gathering place. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of life in an old building. Yeah.
So this was what I was going to look at. So this is, you were saying there might be something in here about the Italian.
Yeah. I think she has a glossary there. Brachescos, Saraginos, Righettos.
Sorry, Sergino, and then did you say Righetto?
Righetto. He was quite a promoter. His name is well known throughout the county.
Huh.
David Righetto.
Well, I just had someone come in to eat that, it's not an Italian last name, but Galbraith, do you know?
That's
but they're not Italian.
The mother was a Brachesco.
Oh, Brachesco.
Yeah, and this Liz Myers that I'd like you to talk to, she's part of that family.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And she's related to them all the way back to the beginning, when they first came here.
So these would just be my names, so if I looked up Italian, it's not going to show up. Well, would it be the Myers family? No, is she in here, or?
Well, no.
Here we go. Sarah, that would be Cheragino. 112.
I'm always surprised they didn't develop the wine industries.
Yeah.
They would have really...
Yeah, most family makes most Italians, they make their own wine.
But I suppose onion ground doesn't work well with wine.
I'm curious, like what part they were coming from. So Chipotle.
Yeah, the one group that disappeared is the French. they've established St. Paul, Oregon, but they didn't. You don't meet French around here. They came in a big way.
Huh. So have you lived in Sherwood?
Yeah, I was born here.
Oh wow.
Newburgh. Way back when.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you came to Old Town Sherwood because it was.
We thought it was characteristic. It was similar to what Mimo grew up with, you know, and having the town center, right, in his village. And his mom was a bread baker. You know, she baked bread out of the wood firing oven, and his family were farmers, and they made their own wine. And and we thought, you know, we're in the middle of the beginning of the wine country and agricultural land. We can source everything locally, and you know. But we didn't know when we first got here, it would take a very long time to make the connections because the farmers, they bring stuff to Portland. I'd like call, but they said, you know, we go to Portland. I'm like, but we're in Sherwood on the way.
So you said Naples. Sherwood reminds you of Naples. Is that what you said?
No, just well, for Mimo,
we're a little bit smaller, I should say.
It reminds me, his town is called Monte di Procida.
Ah, how do you say that?
Monte di Procida, which it's, I guess, mountain of Procida. His town is on the northernmost point of the Bay of Naples, and right across is this island, Procida. And the people from Procida, who were fishermen, they came there to farm.
Okay, I'm going to look that up on Google Earth.
Yeah, I can write it down for you. But it's not that it reminds us of Monte di Procida, but just that, like having, the town center, and you know, I mean, we would love it if Old Town, if we had like a real bakery, and you know,
you can't believe how good like it is to hear. This is what we were working for, you know, to actually find somebody from Europe that would see what we're trying to do, you know.
No, that's what Mimo. I mean, he would love to do. He wants to have a wood fired oven because he'd like to do pizzas, and he'd like to do bread. We've got a guy actually from, he's from Naples, but he grew up in Florence, and he lives in Tualatin because his wife, and he's working for us, and he's doing the pastries. So he's making beignet, the Neapolitan beignet, and tiramisu. So that's really cool. I think most people like Italian food.
Yeah, generally speaking, but there's food that Italians themselves eat that.
Well, you know what's interesting though is like things that Mimo grew up with because they had rabbits, so they always ate rabbit. And so when he found that he could get local rabbit, he wanted to do rabbit here. And we have a lot of people that love Mimo's rabbit.
I saw one in my backyard. I never seen one before. Little bunny rabbit.
Yeah, it's a very it's a good meat. It's very sustainable meat too. I should probably go. I think that's Tanya's daughter saying.